Hey everybody, welcome back to Eating with Evans. This week we're going to make healthy zucchini boats and we're going to stuff them with shredded chicken. We're going to toss that chicken in either barbecue sauce or buffalo sauce depending on your taste. And we're going to serve that alongside some roasted sweet potatoes that have been diced. To make the zucchini boats, you're going to need 1 pound of chicken breast. All I did was season this with salt and pepper and then put it on the grill for around 4 minutes aside until the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees. You're going to need 4 large zucchinis. I like the large ones for this recipe because we're going to eventually scoop out the inside to make boats, and it holds a lot more chicken if you get a larger zucchini. For the buffalo variety, you need a 1/4 cup of cayenne pepper sauce. I like to use Frank's Red Hot. To make the buffalo sauce, we're going to need to incorporate a couple tablespoons of butter, and of course some salt and some freshly ground pepper. For the barbecue variety, I'm using Stubb's original barbecue sauce. I like Stubb's because it's low calorie and it's fairly low in sugar relative to a lot of the barbecue sauces you see on the market. To make the sweet potatoes, we're going to dice 2 large sweet potatoes in 1-inch cubes. We're going to toss those cubes in some avocado oil. We're going to season those liberally with salt, pepper, and some dried rosemary. To start this recipe, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. We're going to allow these zucchini to pre-cook in a 350 degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes before we load it with the chicken. This way we're going to allow the zucchini to get a bit of a head start so that it's not too crunchy when you go to bite into it. To start this process, we're going to take our zucchini. I like to take the very bottom tip off with my knife, and I like to take the very top off. And you can either, if you have a long enough knife, you can either run your knife along this way, or you can use the flat that we just created and go straight down with your knife. At this point, you're going to use a spoon to hollow out all of the seeds from the zucchini. What we're going to be making is a cavity to stuff our chicken in later on. What I like to do is do the top half of my zucchini and then flip it over and do the second half. And what you're really looking for here is nice smooth sides with all the seeds removed. This is a perfect vessel to load up with shredded chicken and top with a little cheese. Now I'm just going to continue to cut up these zucchini and take out the seeds with my spoon. Now that these zucchini are cut and we've removed all the seeds, we're going to salt these with some kosher salt and put on some freshly cracked pepper. We're going to put these into a 350 degree oven for 15 minutes so that we can pre-cook the zucchini. The side dish for these healthy zucchini boats is going to be roasted sweet potatoes. So I've got 2 large sweet potatoes here. So how we're going to prepare these sweet potatoes is cut them into 1-inch cubes, toss them with some avocado oil, some salt, and some pepper, and we're going to bake them in a 350 degree oven for 30 to 40 minutes until they're nice and tender. The first thing that I like to do when preparing sweet potatoes is cut them into thirds lengthwise. The reason I like to cut these into thirds is because it makes it much easier to dice these into equal sized pieces. To start, I'm going to cut each of these pieces into thirds. These ended up being about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide, so when I turn it this way I'm going to make approximate squares out of my sweet potato pieces. Here are my 2 large sweet potatoes that I've diced into cubes. To these sweet potatoes, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of avocado oil. This is going to allow them to get nice and golden brown and soften up in the oven. I'm going to add some generous pinches of kosher salt, and I'm going to add some freshly ground black pepper. Now I'm going to toss to combine. To this I'm going to add in my dried rosemary. transferred my sweet potatoes from a bowl to a large sheet pan like this one. If you prefer, you could season your sweet potatoes while they're on the sheet pan like this, by adding your salt and pepper directly on top here and sprinkling with rosemary. I prefer to toss the seasoning in with the sweet potatoes in the bowl so that the seasoning gets covered all the way around the sweet potato pieces. We're going to put these sweet potatoes into a 350-degree oven for around 30 to 40 minutes until they soften up and develop a nice color on the outside. At this point, we want to start making our buffalo sauce. To do this, we need to add 1/4 cup of cayenne pepper sauce to a large mixing bowl, 2 tablespoons of melted high-quality butter, a pinch of kosher salt, and some freshly ground black pepper. Now all we do is whisk to combine. For this recipe, I grilled 2 large chicken breasts. What I did was I butterflied them with my knife. I seasoned them liberally with salt and pepper, and I cooked them on my grill on high heat. After cooking them in my grill, I allowed them to cool in my refrigerator for around 15 to 20 minutes. This is going to allow me to pull this chicken without burning my fingers. Another way that you can pull chicken is by using 2 forks and pulling it out this way against the grain so that it comes apart in shreds. I find that it's quicker to just use my hands, so that's why I'm pulling it apart with my hands. As I start shredding this chicken, I'm going to make sure that I leave my chicken into 2 piles. This way I can evenly divide the chicken between the buffalo and the barbecue sauce we're going to load into the zucchini boats later. Now that our chicken's been evenly divided into 2 portions, I'm going to add it in with the buffalo and the barbecue sauce and mix it to combine. So now that our chicken's been shredded, we're going to combine it with this buffalo sauce that we made. So I'm going to add in my chicken breast that we've shredded. Using some tongs, I'm just going to toss this around to combine. I've done a good amount of buffalo sauce here because I really like spicy food. I like buffalo. So you could always do less, or you could maybe add in a little bit of ranch if you didn't necessarily like the heat, or maybe some blue cheese dressing. What would also be good in this if you like blue cheese is adding in blue cheese crumbles to this, but to keep it low-cal, I kept that off. Next, we're going to add our shredded chicken to the bowl for the barbecue. Now we've got our second piece of shredded chicken here. And what we're going to do is add our Stubb's Original to this. I really love this barbecue sauce. It has great flavor and it's not too sweet. We're just going to do the same as the buffalo. We're going to mix it to combine. We just pulled this zucchini out of the oven. It was in there for between 15 and 20 minutes. And you can tell that the zucchini's given up a lot of its moisture. It was able to soften up a good amount, so that means once we load the chicken in here and we throw it back in the oven, when you cut into the zucchini, it's going to have a nice delicate texture. So the first thing we're going to do is start loading our zucchini boats with our barbecue chicken that we just mixed up. And we're going to evenly divide this chicken in between the 4 zucchini boats here. These 4 are going to be reserved for the buffalo chicken coming up next. Now that the barbecue chicken is loaded into the zucchini boats, we're going to do the same thing with the buffalo in these 4. At this point, we're going to sprinkle on some Monterey and Cheddar cheeses. These are going to go back into a 350-degree oven for 15 or 20 minutes until the cheese melts and everything's heated up. And this is the final dish. These are healthy zucchini boats stuffed with grilled chicken that's been tossed in buffalo sauce and barbecue sauce and tossed with a little cheese. These are being served with a side of roasted sweet potatoes that we tossed in salt, pepper, avocado oil, and some rosemary. As you can see, similar to last week's meal, this is another great meal that you can do for a meal prep. All you have to do is separate the zucchini and the sweet potatoes into their own containers and heat them up during the week whenever you need them. This meal took between 30 and 45 minutes to cook, and it's a great meal for you to cook for your family when you want to just make them something healthy during the week. This is a super healthy dish that's low calorie and will absolutely fill you up. Hey everybody, I hope you like that recipe for my healthy zucchini boats that we stuffed with grilled chicken. We tossed the grilled chicken with some barbecue sauce and some buffalo sauce and served it with a side of roasted sweet potatoes. If you love that recipe as much as I do, be sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to see more content from me on a weekly basis, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and turn on notifications. That way you're going to be notified every single time I put out a new video so you never miss one. If you haven't already, check out my Instagram page here at Eating with Evans. This is where I post all of my meals they wouldn't necessarily see here on the YouTube channel. Until next time.
How was that? Was that good? Oh, did you like the chicken? High five. Oh, that was good.